So actually, thank you for bringing up enchants, Mizu. So from here, I'd say I want to go talk into our last section, and I want to talk about balance in this game. So the first thing regarding balance I want to talk about is the gear curve. Right now, a lot of people may have read my post on the forums regarding the gear curve. I did some basic math, and you gain roughly 300% of bonus damage on your weapon from enchanting your weapon from 1 to 15. You gain another 200% from enchanting from 15 to 20. That means 40% of the damage you gain is at that 15 to 20 mark. And I think that's a bit too much for what it should be. Right now,
Well,
Right now, I think that it needs to be nerfed to about you gain 400% from 1 to 15 and 100% from 15 to 20. And let me explain why. That would allow other people to get into the game and they won't be that far behind. The difference from 15 to 20 would be more measurable and you'd be able to deal with it easier. So right now in Korea, a plus 15 is never going to win against a plus 17 unless they just completely outskill them. But even then, the plus 17 will rip apart the plus 15 if he hits him even once. So what I want to do is I want to make this a little more skill based. So nerf 15 to 20, but buff 1 to 15. The side note I want to put into this is that 1 to 15 will have to become harder. This means because your plus 15 will now be equivalent to roughly plus 17.5 in Korea. This means past plus 11, so enchanting plus 12 to plus 15 will become much harder with what I'm proposing, but your plus 11 will be roughly equivalent to the current plus 15 in the game. So,
Okay. So then essentially going from plus 16 and up, it's more so you're not gaining as big of a boost from it, but you're still getting a little bit of progression is what you're saying.
yes, so plus 15 with what I want to change it to, plus 15 will be equal to roughly plus 17.5 in Korea. But plus 12 to plus 15 will be much harder than it currently is in Korea. So they'll have to change the enchant numbers. But plus 15 to plus 20 will be kind of the try-hard enchants, which means that you don't have to have them. They're not going to give you as big of a boost in Korea, but you can still get them. And from what I know, I myself am a hardcore PvPer. I know that I will personally be putting in work into getting and maxing out my enchants to plus 18 and hopefully plus 20 someday, which I know will never happen.
Kashin says in chat that, but isn't it relatively easy to get to plus 15? He says that he always ends up making a plus 15 on alt before he tries a new class. Yeah, in the current Korean version, it is very, very easy to get a plus 15 weapon just because the game's been out so long and just the market for Blackstones is just, you can just buy Blackstones like off the chain, easy.
totally
When the game
crashed that
first
market,
started,
yeah.
yeah, when the game first started, you have no idea how hard it was to get a plus 15 in the beginning of the game. We not only
Uh-huh.
did not have that extra counter to get that extra chance for getting the next upgrade, that extra success, but overall, just everything was just a lot harder in the beginning of the game when the game first came out. So overall, yes, now it's a lot easier. And I guess since our client, the North American version, the EU version, is getting the same client as the Korean version, yes, it will be slightly easier to get plus 15 weapons than it was, at least for me, in the beginning of the game. But you also have to keep in mind that the Blackstones on the market, there won't be so many that you can just buy straight off the market. You're still gonna have to be farming those yourself, especially in the beginning of the game. So you might have to wait about a month or two before you actually start seeing them on the market, before it becomes, average for everybody to have plus 15.
That's true, simply because people start to hoard them up for their own progression.
So what this does is it modifies the game to, or modifies 1 to 15. So 1 to 15 would become harder, plus 11 would become the new plus 15, and the new plus 15 standard for most players would become a much higher attack rate. This would mean that, and much higher defense for armor. This would also mean that enchanting to plus 20 doesn't give us much of a boost, but it's also the gear is more balanced in terms of fighting a plus 18 and plus 15 gear will actually be a feasible feat, versus right now in Korea, you will just get destroyed.
Hmm.
Well, it's more like that one video showed you. You're actually, what you're doing in Korea right now is failing on purpose on as many characters that you have, just to get your counter high enough for that one single, maybe lucky try.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to promote with this change, and I'm not sure how feasible it is, but I'm trying to make gear matter a bit less, so everyone will have roughly. Yes, I'm saying armor will work the same as the weapons, Digox 91. So armor will give you more armor at plus 15, and weapons will give more attack. So from there, I kind of want to move on from enchanting, and I'm gonna show you a picture which is gonna define what we're talking about next. Everyone, please pay attention to the screen. 1 second.
Oh, are we talking about buff stacking?
Oh, all right. So everyone, please pay attention to what is on the screen right now. This is a common buff bar on the Korean server.
A common buff bar for
A Korean.
Siege Wars.
For Siege Wars, for PvP, that is 30 buffs across the screen.
Jeez, that is ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. I can't.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Arcage.
Well, yeah, that in itself is a bad thing there, Mizu.
I know.
I'm sorry, guys. I have issues of this. I have so many issues with this. So many.
All
I
right.
think I don't think any person in any game should be able to stack this many buffs on them. At least not for an extended period of time. How long do these buffs last? If it's like 5 second, a 5 second buff, sure, okay.
Let me
5
answer
seconds
that
for all
question.
these buffs.
Let me answer that question for you, Kento. No, these buffs actually last about an hour or longer each.
That is ridiculous.
However, you need to keep in mind some of those are so-called flasks, which are rather expensive. That's like 2 to 3 million pop, just one elixir.
All
Some
right.
of them.
So basically, I'm pretty sure everyone can guess what we're proposing here. Besides player buffs, so your personal buffs or wizard buffs or Valkyrie buffs, limit the buffs. It should be one food buff and one elixir buff. So you get to choose two, and you go with them. That's it. So you can choose to grab that XP food, or you can choose to grab damage food, but you can't have both.
Yeah, I agree. That because this is just ridiculous, guys. I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there. All right. As I don't think there's much left to say in regards.
It hit me.
Huh.
So, as I don't think there's much less to say in terms of buffs, I want to move back to another point, and that's potions. So, with potions, I'm going to show you a quick video of Sork versus Giant. I'm on the Giant. I know I'm horrible on Giant. I still didn't really know how Giant PvP worked at this point, so don't make fun of me. But
I will, mate.
well, yes. All right. So this is me fighting Reckless. It is important. I'll do a quick play-by-play, but it is important to note that what's it called? Both of us are desyncing. So there you see me grabbing nothing in the air, missing the dodge, and getting my ass beat. Please note the potions on the bottom. This is a fight with equalized gear and no pots. So at this point I grabbed him, and apparently he was already moving at the time I grabbed. Here I'm auto-attacking to regain my resource. Getting behind him and auto-attacking some more to regain more of my resource. I finally got a good knockdown on him, and I charged up enough of my energy to attack him fully. And as you see, the attacks with that resource actually did a lot of damage to him. But now I ran out, so I can't do anymore. And he resisted my last grab. Oh, pro stun by Reckless, and now as you see I'm getting wrecked on the giant. At the moment I do not have enough energy to actually do anything, so I'm just trying to get some auto attacks off or place a stun or knockdown so I can charge some energy back up. Oh, I got that knockdown off. I finally managed to get a grab. And I get that last hit in. Noting I lost like 2 duels prior to this, so don't so I want to point out there. So the main point I was pointing to this is I want to point that there was a point in that fight where I blew all my energy and I couldn't do anything else. I had to auto attack. So with that, I kind of want to talk about our next section, which is mana potions, energy pots, all of that. Kento?
So okay, so I know you guys have seen me on the forums a couple times, maybe on Reddit, talking about this topic. But one of my biggest issues with the game is the fact of FP and MP potions, the fact that they give you an infinite resource to have. The game before FP potions were introduced or anybody knew about them, the game felt a lot more in depth, a lot more mechanic learning, because everybody had a resource that they had to manage themselves. So these FEMP potions, it makes it really, really powerful in the late game when everybody has extreme amount of DPS they can spam from their skills. And the fact that their skills don't have a lot of cooldowns, they can just constantly spam these skills with an infinite resource such as mana or FP. When you don't have a need to manage resources, it's all about just clipping somebody with a CC and then making sure you capitalize on that CC and damaging them until they're dead. Some classes have a really, really large benefit with these infinite resources, such as Bladers being able to dash and iframe through everything. They can iframe through a whole freaking Zerg if they wanted to with their iframes. Rangers, the reason why they deal so much damage is because of how much they can spam their cancel Q. I mean, everybody knows about cancel Q if you've played any of the current versions that are out right now, where they just rip you apart.
Let me
Sorry,
interrupt right there. Ranger, cancel Q, cancel Shift Q into space shotgun blast. So on. There's just a lot of things you can do with infinite resources.
Yeah. So with these infinite resources, it makes it so that every person who is able to take advantage of this, they can overall just output way more DPS than what was originally intended for their class. And because of that, as you guys have seen, they have over time reduced the potion cooldown on HP potions. Overall, people are just able to pot more, just in general. And I feel like with this, the change to FP and MP potions has completely ruined the strategy that happened within the game. So now Zergs and Sieges, they're all about just spamming as many skills as you can until someone dies in front of you. And that's literally what it feels like. It's just, see, all these big warfares, it's all just about spamming as many skills until someone just dies.
So now, at the same time, I want to talk a little bit about health pots. So health pots, as many of you have seen, are kind of powerful early in the game, but it curbs down a little bit later in game, but they're still a little strong. By nerfing mana pots, we can definitely have health pots nerfed, and regardless, I don't think the potions should be on a shorter than 6-second cooldown. One thing I'm considering, and I would love to hear everyone's opinion on, is moving health pots and mana pots to the same cooldown, and that cooldown being 5 or 6 seconds. This means that you get to choose whether to charge up your resource bar or heal yourself, but you can't have both.
Yeah, I would totally agree on that. It just makes you think twice what you're about to do. It also helps to balance it out. Right now, you can just write a macro that presses 3 buttons for you. HP pot plus the other HP pot plus the MP pot and you can spam that button and you're good.
Oh,
Which
well,
is really, really lame.
actually, let me mention about that other HP pot. Kento, would you like to mention whale pots?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, we have normal potions on a 3 second cooldown. 3 second, right? 3 or 2 seconds.
3 seconds.
3.
Oh,
2 seconds?
3. 3.
3 seconds? God, I can't I don't remember. Anyway, so we have the normal potions. Let's say you're buying the biggest one that heals 275 HP every 2 seconds. 3 seconds? 3 seconds?
3 seconds.
So there's also these other potions that you can get by crafting certain materials that you use to craft after hunting whales. And everybody just calls them whale potions. And what they are is they're potion that heals you for 500 HP, correct?
Yes.
And it's on a separate cooldown than from your normal HP potions. So effectively, you can double pop both these potions, and be healing for nearly 800 HP every tick. That
I'd
is an
also want
insane
to
amount of
mention
HP.
that most people have around, 1500 to 1800 HP, so that is really shit ton of healing right there.
So so basically what we've discussed is, regardless of anything else, whale pots need to be on the same cooldown as health pots. But I think an easy fix to potions would be keep them on a 5 to 6 second cooldown, maybe 7 seconds, and put health pots and mana pots on the same cooldown. This means that, one, you'll get to choose what pot to use, and you can't just spam pots. For those of you worried about sieges, remember that the loss of mana pots would really greatly decrease the amount of damage that's going out. So you won't need to spam health pots as much. If anything, you could spam some dodges.
Okay, I could see that.
Another thing I would want to mention with this is that mana pots would affect people's playstyle a little bit. The couple classes I want to bring up are Giant would greatly be affected by this because they don't have much regen outside of their auto attack. So I could see Dom maybe taking a look at the numbers gained, but on a
Yeah,
7 second cooldown, you should be able to use your mana pots, or 6 second cooldown, you should be able to coordinate mana and health pots in combination with your auto attacks or other resource gaining abilities to properly manage your resources.
I would even take to go as far as even allowing the classes that are suffering from without mana potions, such as Giant, maybe Tamer and Ranger, to have a skill that's similar to Bladers, like their space and shift key that allows them to instantly recover a certain amount of FP.
I would say the easier way, though, to fix this, Kento, and I agree adding skills isn't a horrible idea, but the easier way is to just buff their current,
Or
what's
the
it
current
called,
regen for their
regen
skills.
skills,
Yeah,
because all they have to do at that point is just tweak some numbers.
that's true. That is true.
So,
But either way, they could use a buff after, but I think that's overall a much safer way to balance the game than balancing the whole game around potions. I don't think a game should ever be balanced around potions.
so by putting them on the same cooldown, it would at least add some more thought to it, and you couldn't just spam skills.